Cell signaling and transduction, a very important topic in biotechnology. Dear students, Dr. Sabia Khan, Associate Professor, Samrat Prithviraj Chauhan, Government College, Ajmer. Cell signaling and transduction. Cell, as we know, it is a basic unit of life in the modern world. A body, it is made up of cells and they perform all the vital functions of the life. The organisms are either single cellular or multicellular. They are composed of cells. So cells, they are the smallest unit that perform all the vital functions of the body. What is cell signaling and transduction? You can see in the diagram the structure of the cell signaling and transduction. Cell signaling is a communication between different group of cells. A body, as we know, it is made up of different type of cells. So there are different group of cells, and when in different group of cells there is communication, then it is called as cell signaling. These cells, they communicate together and they are performing tissues. The cells, when they are grouped together, they form a tissue, and when there is communication in the cell, then it is called as cell signaling. What is cell transduction? It refers to the presence of an extracellular signal that produces a change in the intercellular state of the cell. Means it is when a signal is given to the cell. As you know, cell is situated inside the body. Due to this signal, the cell responds. The cells, when they are producing a response, then what is happening? These responses, they are passing through the membrane, and they are passed through the membrane. This is called as signal transduction. Now, cell signaling and signal transduction. Why these cells communicate? The question arises, why the cells they communicate? How the signals they are transmitted between the cells? How the signals they are transmitted across cell membrane and into the interior cell? How the signals are transmitted within the cells? And how signals they affect a cell function. So means whatever it is happening, it is due to signal. When the signal is received to the cell, then the cell responds. The signals they are transmitted, and the signals they pass through the cell membrane. In the cell membrane, as we have studied in the nervous system, they have the transmitters, neurotransmitters. Through neurotransmitters, the signals are transferred. So ligands, they are situated ligand gated channels, and these channels which are present on the membrane, they open due to the presence of certain calcium ions, potassium ions, or the pressures, and they are communicated inside the cell. Why do cells communicate? During developmental stages, the cells they differentiate to form different. When the cells they are in embryonic stage or in developmental stage, then they differentiate, and then different organs are formed. The cells, they need to know whether to cells have to be alive, they die, or they have to divide. The cells, they know it very well what is going to happen. Neurotransmission, it is also a cell communication. Regulation of metabolism, contraction, expansion, and secondary sexual characters. All these, they are performed by the cells. Now, if we see the mode of cell signaling, how? There are three types of signaling mode. Here you can see in the diagram, it is very clear. First, signaling by cytoplasmic bridge. In the cell, cytoplasm is present. Here you can see there are two cells, and there is a signal between cytoplasmic bridge and a gap junction, it is formed. Gap junction, it is formed. If we see the second stage, it is by the secreted molecules. Here you can see the cell signaling, the receptors, the signal molecules, and the molecules which are secreted. Inside you can see the molecules, they are secreted. The third is the signaling by plasma membrane bound molecules. So the cell, they are surrounded by the plasma membrane. So signaling, it is taking place by plasma membrane bound molecules. In this way. Now what are the steps in cell signaling. The steps in cell signaling, here you can see in the diagram it is very clear. The first, it is a synthesis of the signaling molecule. The first step is a synthesis of signaling molecule. Second step is a release of signaling molecule. Third, there is transport of signals to the target cell. The signals, they are transport to the target cells. Detection and binding of signals by specific receptors. So there are specific receptors which are present on the cell membrane. They detect it and they bind the signal. They know the signal it is coming for which cell and it is binded there. Then the changes due to receptor signal complexes. When due to these signals response is created and receptor signal complex is formed. And the signal, they are removal and response termination. After that, the signals, when the cell is responded, the signals, they are removed and the response is terminated. So these are the steps. So again, first the synthesis of signaling molecule, release of signaling molecule, transport of signals to the target cell, detection and binding of signals by specific receptors, then the changes due to receptor signal complex, signal removal and response termination. So this is a whole brief summary how the signaling it is taking place. Then the classification of intercellular communication. How intercellular communication it take place. Intracellular signaling, it is subdivided into the following subclasses. First is the autocrine, when the signals target the cell itself. Paracrine, when the signals largest cells in the vicinity of the emitting cell neurotransmitter recipient is an example. Endocrine, when the signals they are largest distant cells. And juxtacrine, when the signal targets adjacent, that is the touching cells. We are going to study these type of communication in detail in the next lecture. Now, giving the examples of signaling molecules. So, if we take the example of the signaling molecule, here you can see in the table the type of the molecules, the local mediator, neurotransmitter and the hormone. If we see peptides, then the local transmitter is kinin and neurotransmitter is neuropeptidase and hormone is vasopressin. If we take polypeptides, then the hormone is insulin. Amino acid and derivatives, then the local mediator is histamine, neurotransmitter is the glutamate and the hormone is epinephrine. If we take fatty acid derivatives, then the prostaglandins, leucopherins, PEF and the hormone is testosterone. Other small molecules, cytokines, chemokines, acetylcholine is a neurotransmitter and hormone it is not known. So this question is also asked, give example of signaling molecules, their location and the hormone secreted. So it's very important. So we have discussed what is a signaling molecule, how the signal transduction it is occurring, the different steps, what is transduction, examples of the signaling molecules and the classification of intracellular communication. It is of 4 types and we are going to study this autocrine, paracrine, endocrine and juxtacrine communication in detail in a next lecture. Hope you have understood, and in our next class we are going to study the very important concept of this cell signaling. Till then, goodbye, thank you and stay safe.